So I want to first find out when you got the script and you read the entire story, did you have a background about this before? What was your thinking process?
I read my on my own about Rufus Buck prior to getting the script and prior to even getting the audition. I was doing my own research on on the Midwest and Wild West and different characters of diversity in the Midwest because I was just drawn to all that. So yeah, I knew of Rufus and I knew of the gang and come before prior to the shooting.
Well, it was just so interesting because I've never, heard of this gang. Have you heard about Jesse James and all the different things like that? And there's so many layers to this character. So tell me a little about your process in getting ready to prepare for this role because there's some all through very intense moments for you in this entire film.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of the process was just finding my motivation as to why I can do what some people call these heinous acts, and and to not feel like this is just ridiculous, because I think anytime you're an actor, when you have to do murder or whatever, that's just not it's not what any of us, I'd hope, what any of us want to do or like. But when you do have to do it as a character, you just want to find that motivation as to what makes it right for that character. So I think that was the biggest part. And I think for me the motivation was basically, you know they stole the land. They're wrong. We're right. We're just doing what you did to us, in a sense, eye for an eye.
Because there are moments in the film where you could see these small moments of compassion. You can actually see he I felt that the character was still struggling, even though he was doing these horrible things.
Mm,
I could sense a struggle underneath that. So I think I applaud you for being able to present that essence, as you
thank you.
said. Talk about working with the other performers and the actors. What was that journey like with working with this team and getting everybody in that same mindset?
Gang with the Rufus Buck Gang, that was a lot of fun. I think first day of shooting, we all had a little bit of nerves. It's first day, but I think we all actually Carradine helped us a lot because first day, he's such a veteran and he came in. And I think he was the very first shot that we did. And he came in, he's like, he looks at all of us. He's like, "What's my line?" and it just was just a relief on all of us to see this veteran in the Hollywood to say and look around, like, "What's my line again?" And it just felt really good. And pretty much getting the gang together on the same vibe, same vibration, in a sense of, like, if I laugh or if you laugh, we all laugh. And we just want to have that camaraderie that, we're young boys, and when you're around young teenagers and they can just laugh at stuff that a grown up would just look at you like, you guys need to just go sit down somewhere. But they just think they're just the funniest people in the world. And I think it was just kind of getting that on camera.
And I think that translated as well because we know that they're young. We know they're going through all these emotional different things, but then all the layers of the politics that came in. So,
Mm.
what do you would hope that we would learn from this project and actually just from the story itself? What would you like us to take away?
That's a great question. I would really just want to take away, for the most part, is just the diversity in it, and just kind of seeing what it was like for, young boys, minority boys at the time, Indian, Black, um, and just kind of seeing what they were kind of going through during the 1800s. Um, and also just to take away, there's a lot of socio-political things to take away from the film as well, which is just like harsh stances. Like Rufus has his harsh stance. Heck Thomas has his harsh stance on justice. You have George Maladon, the hangman, has his harsh stance. You have the Judge Parker has a harsh stance. Everyone kind of has where where they sit, and they're not changing. And I think there's something to take from that, and it's something to see in that.
Yeah, it was really riveting because it just made me look at the fact that we keep repeating these things in history, and we
Mm,
keep not recognizing that part of it from a
Yeah.
historical point of view, when you're looking at the whole template itself and shaping that narrative, what are you seeing as an actor and as a person of color that you can implement as you move forward in your career? What would be that mission for you?
Keep telling truthful stories for the most part. You know, I'm all for I'm all for diversity, and but I'm not for diversity just for diversity's sake. You know, I want truthful stories. I want artful stories, and I think this helps to do that. And I hope that kind of keeps coming across, and that we're not just, because I think when you throw diversity at diversity for diversity's sake, I think it almost hurts it, because then you're like, this is not real. This isn't this doesn't feel like something in real life. So you almost get turned off by it. So I just hope that, you know, people can see this and see that there's a lot more stories to be told, and diverse stories. Working with Paul Volk was great. He never really pressured too much, you know, from me, or I believe any of the other actors. I think they did a great job of casting. So it was just you. Everyone already came to set knowing who they are and what they're bringing. Paul, on the first day, as well as Patrick, one of the producers, they came to me and they said, because I had some questions. You know, it was such a run and gun of a shoot. I had some questions on the script. We never got to do table read prior to shooting or anything, so there's a lot of things that weren't really answered. And so I came to them on the first day on set, and I was like, "Hey, I got a question here, question." I had a lot of questions, and they just looked at me and they said, "You know what? You're Rufus. Do what you do. What Rufus would do." And I heard that, and I heard it loud and clear, and I think we just ran with that. And so it was a good collaboration between all of us, because no one really came in with a set thing where like, oh no, we have to do it this way. It was more of like, let's get together and do it our way.
And I like the scenes because there's a scene, you open up with the Bible and then, you think it's going in one way and then you realize, whoa, wait a second, and then you end up with the story at the end. But what I really love was the fact that being able to do what you do and being able to still have that, yes, heinous crimes at the same time, but making us understand why. We don't have to agree with it and we know it's
Yes.
not right, but getting that point. Going forward in your career, are these the kind of roles you want to tackle some more? Because this was pretty intense. Like, what do you see next for Charles?
I want to do a whole array of characters, you know. But this is definitely, I think, something in my wheelhouse, because I like to be a little bit unpredictable. And I think a lot of characters I've played so far in my career have been unpredictable. Um, but you know, as far as this goes, yeah, I'd like to have a whole array of characters, you know, and just where you really can't pinpoint who I'm going to be in the next movie. Um, so but this is definitely a good starting point, I'd say, with this character, and a kind of a good introduction, and to show kind of the range that I'd like to bring to Hollywood.
Well, you sort of maybe answer my question, but I'll still ask this last question. What did
Hmm.
you come away with about yourself, learning about yourself in the craft, and just as a human being in the project? What did you take away on a personal note that you step back and say, whoa, wow, the reflection on that? What did you come away with for yourself?
Great question. There's just so much to take away. I mean, it's anytime you get to work on a film, you know, it's a process, and you come out on the other end a different person. Um, and especially being on set with, you know, some of these big actors like Brian Austin Green and Trejo and Robert Carradine. I think the biggest thing for me to take away was, you know, just the fact that I can sit here and I can do the work with these guys, which is a big question I think a lot of actors have when they're coming into this industry, which is like, you know, you do so much acting before you actually get to act on, you know, on big sets. You wonder, it's like, is it any different when you get here with these guys? And you almost realize it's no different. And you see that it's these are the moments that you just got to cherish and just have, kind of be in it. You want to be in it at all times. I think that's what I took away a lot of, is to just be present.
But I like the fact that this role is a memorable role, and that's really an impact as an actor when people remember the role and go, "Oh man, do you remember him in this particular film?" And
Yeah.
that's great. So I really want to applaud your performance. Like I said, it just, there are moments in the film I'm like, "Oh God, really?" So, but you did a great job, and I could ask you a million more questions, but I know we don't have a lot of time. So, but thank you
Right.
again, and I can't wait to see you on the big screen and the other things you're going to do next. But congratulations on the night they came home. All right, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. This is
welcome.
great.